Hey, you tourists, it's your boy Domination. This is Back in the Basic. Chuck and the Deuces, how we do text, baby man. Let us back, this and this. Real men rise up, fake men rise down. Real women rise up, fake women rise down. Brett the word preacher, preach on. And today's topic to talk about is your boy Domination. This is Back in the Basic. Chuck and the Deuces, how we do text, baby man. Let us back, this and this and this. Real men rise up, fake men rise down. Real women rise up, fake women rise down. Brett the word preacher, preach on. And today's topic to talk about is Black True Forever. I just saw your video. You said that Oscars are so white. Part one and part two. And then part one, you was talking about how how, because Hollywood is racist, and part two that China is not racist. Let me say this, man. This stuff, all this stuff was started. This stuff was started for so many years. It started for so long. But now it's time to close the curtain on this one. And I'm gonna do it. And I'm gonna reveal this. Why blacks and whites act the way they do, and so is Asians. I'm not claiming I know the answer. Believe me, I could be wrong on this one. But if I go over research and overlook, and make sure I come correct instead of incorrect. If I'm incorrect, I say I apologize and I'm sorry I'm wrong. But I make sure I'm come correct this time instead of correct. Come correct. So correct. It got a lot to do with the Moors. It got a lot to do with the Knight Templars. It got a lot to do with the Mongols. It got a lot to do with it. Anybody that said it doesn't, it does. This is why whites and blacks been going at it for so long because of the Africa and Europe. Look at the whole entire global map, and you will see there are 7 continents. There's 7 of them. They want to promote this idea about the inferior races and superior races. And it got a lot to do with this scientific racism theory. They want to promote the idea that want to put put one they want to put a one group against the other group to make them feel like they inferior to that race. Like it basically, in other words, they inferior means they scared to compete to be in the same access, the same level to that race, which is ridiculous because they can do things just as much as they can. The problem is they don't give them the courage, the courageable to push that drive and drive it editable and editable to do it. That's the biggest problem. That's every race, and they want to promote this another race and put another pit put on top of that race, of that particular race. The problem with that they trying to say they better than they put the race on top and be and look down on other races. Every race does this. Blacks, no, not just blacks, but it's whites. It's also whites, blacks, and Asians. It's whites, blacks, and Asians. Why do they act like this? Well, let's go back. This is what the science studies that's saying that white people are the Neanderthals and black people are the Homo sapiens. Homo sapien and Homo sapiens means wise, wise person, wise like you are aware, wise like you wisdom and wise, and you wise enough, you understand what's going on. The Neanderthal means near the valley. Near, they're dying out. They're dying, breeding out race. It had a lot to do with this. Is why there's so much war. This explains it. This explains why the things are went down over there in Africa, especially in Europe too, and then Asia as well. Then you got and then the Middle East, all the way to the Middle East to Africa, to all the way to all the way to Europe and Asia and Australia too, and all the way to Antarctica in South America and North America. You start to see why even from the Caribbean, you start to see why. I'm not gonna. It's too much long for this video, but I'm gonna explain it shortly, and you can do the research for the rest. Cause I done my research. All you gotta do is go look this stuff up. It got a lot to do why black men and white men are react and think just as much. And I'm telling you, it's gonna be a war. It's gonna be World War III is going to declare. This been going on for years, man. It's been going on. The whole idea that black white people, not black people, but white people, they want to believe they're the master race. They want to believe they are the Aryans. They come from a continent of Atlantis. That's what you call a white supremacy. You hear these pro-blacks, they always mention white supremacy, but they will never tell you the full detail of what it means. What it means, why white people think they believe they're better than other races and even better from their own. You know why they think that? Because white people been told that they are the Aryans. That Aryan theory is a myth that came from Max Ruler before Hitler was running power. But who put all these five different races group, it was named Johann Federman Blumenbach. Because he one that gave Caucasians this name. Caucasians. Caucasian is between the borders between Europe and Asia, but right close away from Africa. But it's away from far Middle East because Middle East is Middle East near Asia. That's all it is. And Australia, it's like Austria. Let's be honest. Austria is a part of Europe, and Europe part of Austria. Basically, they Australia is far away from Asia. See, you got to look at this. This been going on for a very, 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 very long time. This been going on for years. I'd say it going on to 300 and 300 and 1000 or maybe 1400 or 700 years. You add that up. If you add that up at that time, if you add that up at the time, this been from 1500s to 1700s to 9900s. You add all this stuff up. Why has it went down? Let's add it up. 300 plus 700 plus 10, 1000. Well, it's a long time. To 13, 13, 1307 plus hold on for a second for you. We already skipped that, so we skipped all the other numbers. Put it in 1999, 1900s, in the year 2000. So that means it's 0.3099 years ago. 3.99 years ago. That's where all this problem comes from. 300.99 years ago. That's how long blacks and whites and Asians fighting each other for a very long time. That's how long they've been fighting. They've been fighting for what? What is their argument? Who are the original people? And if they say they got something to do with the Great Flood and separate the three different races, one, they separate from away from the blacks, away from the whites and the Asians. Then you wonder why. They let their emotions kick in. They once was a family one time. But what happened? The, the great flood came in. This is why they always talking about Noah and his three sons. It was got something to do with Hamitic, Shamitic, and Japhetitic. It got a lot to do with it. Japhet, Ham, and Sham. Who are the elder? The Japhet race. The Japhet race is Europeans. It's people of Russian, German, Italian, Jews, of Turkey. I mean, every part of the European people, even from Sweden, every part of white folks that mix between the blacks and the Asians are full 100% white. They're descendants of the Javetic race. They're the elders. But because of that, they believe that the elders one was the one is the run in the head of the house. Who the second oldest? Ham. Who the Ham? Is people of Ethiopian, Nigerian, and Kenya, and and Egyptian. It got a lot to do with that. People with that, I just mentioned that. People with that right there. Kenya, 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 Egypt, Ethiopia, and Nigeria. You put all those three right there. Those three that I just mentioned. But it's like the Berber. They try to say the Berber people. The Berber is like Barber and Berber. It's the same thing. This is what the word barbershop came from, and the cutting hairs. They trying to say Berber and people are Hamitic. Hamitic. They are Hamitic, but at the same time they're Shamitic because they mix with the goddamn Asians. But they also Japhetic. Japhetic, that's European. I've been saying this for quite some times. All you got to do is study your Bible. Study it. Study all the families. There's 14 nations. So that means from Europeans, that's the seven sons, right? And that make it for 27, or I forgot how many it is, 27 or 30, 30, 27, 27 and 30, 27 and 30 or something like that. 27 and 30. 27 is basically from it had to be the Hamitic or Shamitic, one of them, and 30 is Hamitic, Shamitic, one of those two. But 14 nations. 14, that's 13, but it's like 14. This one more. But when you start where I'm trying to bring this up, what my point is this: this is nothing new. This been going on for a very long time. Blacks and whites been fighting each other for a long time since dinosaurs was laid in extinct. Some say the Neanderthals actually were black. When they went to those caves, it was the coated cage climate, and they lost in their body instinct and their body hair. And they start to change colors. They start to change colors because of that. They start to change colors. And there was involvement of the cold, and they blissed them out their skin. I believe white people lost their bino color. They went from they were black when they came in and white when they came out. You know how you have a frozen dark popsicle. The more you leave the popsicle for so long, it becomes lighter and lighter popsicle. That could be possible. Their hair texture, it start changing with their hair, and their eyes start changing, and even the type of the deep and the tech of the skin. They lost their melanin. One misconception, they said they lost their melanin to redapt and to evolve and redapt. Basically means they were involved in climate change. This is why white people came from the cold. Europe was cold. Europe was part of Antarctica. Like if you Antarctica and Carp, this is why you need to look this up. White people always been a frozen people. This is why they got more skin cancer, more frost bites, did more of lung cancer than any other race. I never understand why. Because they smoke too much. They they can't stand in the sun too long because they can't stand the sight of the sun. They get burned to death. This is why they always have sunscreen, sun lotion, and tanning it, tan. This is why they tanning their damn skin. I never understand why. They're trying to be black because they know that black is a part of them in some way. White people will never going to admit this, and they never will. They should because the truth comes out. But because of this, this is why they think they're the master race. Who? Let me say this about the Knight Templars. I don't know if y'all heard of the Knight Templars. The Knight Templars was the Crusades. Some people say that they were supposed to protect the Holy Land of the Pilgrim. Pilgrim is nothing but England, okay? It's England. It's English people. They had to protect the British. They had to protect them. Who did they protect them from Muslims. And who the Muslims they trying to fight? They trying to fight the Moors. This is why a lot of this explaining, a lot of this stuff is going on. This is why to this day, to this fucking day, to this day, to this day, this is why it's happening. They set up a banking system. They set up a banking realm that is set up to profit wars. This is why you've seen it today. They need to get more oil, more guns, more money, the whole nine. The only reason why they call themselves the master race because they're funded by banking and it got a lot to do with they link into Freemasons. Who are the founders of Freemasons? The Templars, the Templars. And it goes back to their secrets. Their secrecies, the secrets and meanings of the hidden. It's hidden, plain sight. I believe they have to be killed, orchestrated, and reorganized for they want for they won't reveal them in how everything operates and operates and how it operates itself. That's what I believe, in my opinion. This has been going on for a long time. All you gotta do is look at their symbols. The Templars. But it goes back to King Solomon when he married Queen of Sheba, the Queen of Ethiopia. But they trying to say she really from Siberia. Siberia is away from Africa. Come on. Let's be honest. They don't want to admit that many of them are linked with to blacks. They don't want to admit that. And the reason why they don't want to admit that is because they're afraid that more is gonna go rise back in power. That's what they're scared of. Who the people they're afraid of? I'm gonna finish this up. Who are the bloodline of the Knight Templars? The Ku Klux Klan, the neo Nazis, the White Nationalist Organization movement, the Aryan Brotherhood, the Hells Angels, the skinheads, the fucking Nazis. They are the bloodline of the Knight Templars. All you got to do is look it up. You ever watched a movie called Pirate Caribbean? Guess what? Watch that movie. See what that movie was all about. You might get some of the meaning of the movie. That movie was based about the barbaric pirates. That was based upon the Moors and the Templars, how they set sails all the way when Christopher Columbus discovered America. Listen, look what it has something to do with treasure of Jesus' bloodline. That said that Jesus' holy cup, the Holy Grail. All you got to do is look it up. It's not that obvious to figure that out. And it has something to do of Saint Andrew, something like that. Saint Andrew, something like that. It's a church, and it goes back to a movie called Da Vinci Code. All they got to do. Moors was in power, but they've been overthrown by King Philip IV and Pope Benedict V. And the last of the Grand Master of Vachevunea, he was put his last testimony of that. He said, "I'm gonna lay a curse you." Basically, he spilled the curse mark at them because they would get a false confession that they didn't do anything, but they know they did. They steal from something from the church. This is why they supposed to protect the pilgrims. The pilgrims that somehow they lose hope for the Templars, and Templars stealing money from them. Not only they stealing money from their own people, they stealing money from Asians, and they damn sure steal money from Africa. Mostly in Africa. Let's be honest. The gold came from Africa, if you think about it. Gold didn't came from Europe. Gold didn't came from Asia. It came from Africa. This is why Africa is one of the most richest continents in the world. Why? Because this is where all the original birth of men of kind of anywhere. All they got to do is look. Even Europeans just came out and admit they trying to say every other race was translate and transferized the monkeys to humans. They trying to say a modern day man having sex with a modern day ape woman. They are trying to say a modern day woman having sex with a modern day ape of man. It's bestiality. Bestiality means having sex with intercourse and having sex with animals. Animals after intercourse and having sex with humans. Human flesh and basically animal fleshment. All they gotta do is go look that up. It's not that hard to figure that out. That's why David Duke is coming out. That's why the salute, the Nazis and all that stuff, that's why they're coming out right now, man. We got to guard our money, sister, because they're going to find out we stole the money from the original people. Yes, they did. And it was trying to get revenge not only against the people of France, they're trying to get revenge from other people who throw the Knight Templars out of burn and burned by a strike. Yeah, they took them out of power. And what they were guilty of, they were guilty of us condoning homosexuality, and they would spit the true purple lies of Jesus Christ, and it got something to do. They worship these strange demon abolishment, and it got a lot to do with how they were stealing riches from their own people and not help to receive the seed to get their people together. This is why they took the Moors out of power. I mean, not Moors, the Knight Templars out of power. Those people I just mentioned, the Nazis, the Ku Klux Klan, the quote-unquote Aryan Brotherhoods, Hell's Angels, the Nazis, all these people are the original Knight Templars. All them folks, man. Even David Duke knows what the hell is going on. Who you think the real Nazis? The goddamn Russians, the Khazars. They want to promote the idea that they were the original of God people. They're trying to say that they're the original of God chosen, prosper and paralyzed people. They really want to believe that, but all they is nothing but fake Jews. The real Jews is Ethiopians. The real Jews. This is why real Jews right now is trying to fight the fake ones. You start to see why this stuff is going on. You start to see why. Because they intermixing with the not only the fake Jews but the real Jews. This is why Don Sterling, he said, yo, there's a difference with how the black Jews and the white Jews. How white Jews was being run in power. And for all you Jews out there, I don't mean it like that. I am saying the Khazars, the people of the Zionists, the real Jews of Mafia, dumb folks. They profit wars. That's what they do. To profit of Israel. The first Templars of headquarters, and was a mountain temple. That's what the original name of the Templars, but it really goes back to King Solomon married Queen of Sheba. Again, it got a lot to do with that. If you people don't think that the Moors didn't have anything to do with discovering the Templars, the Knight Templars, there's three types of the Templars: the Tonic Sonic Knights, and the Knights of Hospitars, and then you got the Temple of Knights. Why you think they call white knights of the Ku Klux Klan? Why you think they call themselves that? And what is basically is a knight's meant servant to the people the purpose of the Vatican City, the Catholic Church. That's why you have black pope and a white pope. Black pope is about Moors. White pope is talking about the Templars. Again, let's be for real. Jumpsuit disorder, jumpsuit order, and had a lot to do with Jesus' death. Their ancestors, their fallen of descent and civilized ancestors, and so is the Israelites. They try to say it's the Jews and the quote unquote Italian people had something to do with killing Jesus. No, it was the Israelites. It was the jumpsuit order was the one killed Jesus because they put the frame on Jesus because it get close to John the Baptist. They killed him so they can get close to him. And how did they did it? Paul and Judas. Paul Judas betrayed Jesus Christ. They was part of the plot act to get Jesus to work with a side with the deal with them for he could work and arrange the deal to join with them, but he wouldn't want to join with them. And it got something to do that Saint Andrew was the one who killed John the Baptist. I really do believe that. This is why Judas was kissed Jesus, kiss of death. Mean he kissed him and he wished him gone. He want him dead. This is why Peter saying that he always got Jesus back, and Jesus whispered here, "You gonna deny me 3 times." And he showed did, and he said, "Have you seen this man?" He said, "No." "Have you seen this man?" "No." "Have you seen him?" "No, I never seen him before. I never heard of him." And that's crazy. How can you deny a person and you've been knowing that person all your life, knowing they didn't did anything, knowing that you turn against them? You never go back on your word. You always go back on your word of your friends, your families, and your loved ones. You don't turn it back against your friends, your family. You don't do that. Even your loved ones. No man, no woman should never turn it back to anybody, even from other race or from their own. But because of this is why it went down. So they killed Jesus, and they spared him to death. Spare him the spare for make sure he become dead, for he won't come back alive. Because some people say that when Jesus died, his last words saying, "Forgive them, Father, for they do not know for what have they done." Forgive them, meaning that they didn't know any better, but they should know better at the same time. They didn't have no love in their heart. They have hatred. This is why to this day that blacks and whites, they can get along. The problem is these people in power are the ones that's pushing this racism. They do not want whites and blacks together because the people of United Nations and the other folks in other power, they knew that blacks and whites are brothers and sisters in the Bible. They been knew this. They don't want nobody to know the folk, but they manipulate the Bible and manipulate. They've written some of the parts that's true, but a lot of the parts that's been written over true. They overwritten it. I believe the real Bible's in Israel somewhere, and they don't want to find the real document, the real copy, what God really say in original, His own words. I'm telling you, if you look at this stuff, you just start to see why they funded Israel. To fund every campaign, they always support Israel. Why? Because Israel was the first original headquarters over there at the Mount of Temple in Jerusalem. That's where all this stuff is going on. Okay. After all this, some people say that the Moors was the ones that discovered the Templars. I really do believe that. I really do. Before we talk about the Moors, we already talking about the Templars. Let's talk about the Moors. Moors was running in Europe for 700 years, but all the way to 1492, when the day they discovered America, right along with Christopher Columbus and the Templars. Okay, I already talked about the Templars. I already talked about the Templars. The Templars, they run in power till 1099 to all the way to 1307. That was in October the 13th October 13th, 1307, 1305, or 1312. One of them, and they took him out of power for because they worship a straight doctrine of death. I mean, they prosper spirit and spiritualized profit wars. That's what they do. This is why they funded a banking. This is why they create engineering and farming and labor. It got a lot to do with this, people. You can say all you want, but I'm telling you right now, this been going on for years. This ain't nothing new. This been going on for a long time. Now, when we talk about the Moors, who are the bloodline of reincarnation of the Moors? The Black Panthers, the Black Israelites, the Nation of Islam, and the Black Gorilla family, the Crips and Bloods. I mean, all them folks are the bloodline of the Moors. I'm telling you right now. I'm telling you right now. You might think I'm lying to you, but man, it's true. This is why it's going on. And it's going to continue going on till the bloodline is going to keep repeating it. And they pass that same opulent cycle. I'm telling you, they don't want us together. The elders know what's going on, but they don't want the young people to understand what's going on. They don't want them to know what the Templars created instead of what the Moors created, just like the Templars. The Moors created their own calendar. They create a public library, and they create a piano, because piano is to symbolize black and white. Let's be honest, it's true. And also they created public bathroom, public library. It got a lot to do with this. But one thing they create the most, how more scientists to create all different planets of all these other stuff. A lot of this stuff, the science came from Moors. I'm telling you right now, they white people just ain't come out of nowhere and then black. No, whites somehow whites and black, they interact with together. I believe blacks came around and then whites came around. I'm telling you right now, this is why I think, in my opinion, why this stuff is going on. Okay, they took Moors out of power in 1492 when they roast them. This is why the word turkey is based on they roastify, they beast them, they turk them, they eat them up, man. I'm telling you, it's worse than that. It's sickening, but then you see why. Queen Isabella was the one who took Moors out of power, and they took them out of power because they overconquered Spain and Sicily, and also Portuguese, and all the other parts of Europe. Man, I'm telling you, this explains why the Morocco is the city, a place where Moors at, and the city of the Templars is the people of quote unquote is what, Jerusalem. You look at this stuff, but the original banking was founded in Switzerland. This is why, but after when they moved, some say the Templars escaped after they crucifixion going on. Some they crucified and many of them died, but quite a few of them they left and they sneak in the underground and never heard from, never seen from again. Some people say they came around later when the Illuminati was abolished in May the 1st, 1776. This is why this came around, and some people there's the falling down of falling broken down economy in France. How French can't get enough jobs, can't get enough payment, not make creative of involvement and involve their families and make a better community as the French people. Some people says a false revolution because of Templars. They try to get revenge of the French. They throwing them out of the power because they set up the banking system over there. But the fun Baker Center is Switzerland after they went from Scotland when they created of this quote unquote selected Freemasons and paid tribute John the Baptist, because they believe John the Baptist was the true prophet, true prophet of 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 of, of prophecy, and they thought Jesus was a false prophecy. I'm telling you, once you start looking at this stuff, then you start to see why they're coming out on Sun. Whites ain't gonna tell you this, but I know. I look this stuff. I add things up. I read them. Then you understand why. And I believe Moors they might went extinct, but they still around to this day. They still around. Still around, never left. And I believe just because the Knight Templars they got out of power, they still in power. They still around to this day. They just changed many names, just like the Templars, just like the Moors. Then you got the Morocco. I mean, not Morocco's. The Mongols. Mongols is the people of those who in power. For those and people in power. Those who in people in power. Not Morocco. Mongols. The Mongols. The Mongols is what? China. It's Asians, man. It's those brothers and sisters acting because of the Templar. I mean, the Moors and the Templars. Then the Mongol Empire came in at 10, 11, 99, something like that. But I think they came before before the Templars did. I really do believe they came before Templars because they're the Moors, they're the Templars, they're the Mongols. Mongols was running the power. They would fight along with the French, though not fight. Yeah, that, but they would fight along with no. They fight along with Russians. They fight along with Africans. They fight along a bunch of people, a bunch of, and it goes back to this people running power, Sherris Khan, and they was protecting people in China, in Asia, but then they slaved their own people. I don't know what happened to the quote unquote Mongols. I believe they was been mesmerized, deserized of the sand of the desert. I really do. They went somewhere and they caught to a cave and they start reading desolate, desolate. Because I saw a movie and I think that's what happened to the Mongols. Mongols was caught into a desert storm, a desert, and it desertized for them forever. And I think they stuck in that desert to this day. That's what I think. That's fucked up. What happened to the Mongols? It's crazy. This is why this stuff is happening. This is why Asians have issues with blacks, and blacks have issues with Asians. This is why whites have issues with black and Asians, and then you got blacks and whites have issues with not only Asian but blacks and white. They all of them have issues together. They born in the same around town when all blacks and whites and Asians born the same around time when Jesus was born. That's what the three kings was basically was about. A black man and a white man and a so-called Arab. Arab doesn't want the word Asian. That's all it is. They all came three kings together. And I'm gonna show y'all something. Y'all keep thinking that this people, the blacks, are not descendants from these people. You better think again because they is. If y'all think of the white folks are not descendants from these people, look at the Red Cross. This is what the Red Cross came from. Where you think hospital came from? The Templars. Templars was the ones created hospital. Adolf Hitler is descendants of the Tonic Sonic Knights. Him and Triple H. They all wear that symbol. They all wear it. I even saw the brat was wearing the black Iron Cross. She even wear it in the video. And I'm thinking, does she knows what that symbol is? See, people don't know about this stuff. They don't even care, didn't think of it. But y'all keep thinking that if it's not, because they're descendants from that. And y'all think that the Mongols, the Chinese triads, and the Japanese mafia, and Han Dynasty, and all the rest of these damn and the monks are descendants from these people. Y'all keep thinking that because this explains, and King Opera is descendant of this too. Jackie Chan and Jet Li and them are descendants from that. I'm telling you, all you gotta look is watching Naruto series. That's based on the symbolized between Asian and white and black. I'm telling you, looking at that, like they got a character named Killer B. So you know they pay tribute to the Wu Tang Killer Bees. Come on, and they like the people of Cloud. They the Cloud people, hidden of the village Cloud people. Cloud, who you think the Cloud they talking about? Who you think the Cloud? All those people look like the hidden Cloud. It's been hidden in the cloud. I don't. I'm trying to figure that out. Who the cloud people? That's talking about the air post. That Africans are the air people. They the air people. The air temple. They ain't Asians. Now maybe monks because they were intermixing with the blacks. But look at the last airbender, Aang. Aang, his people are being genocide. He was the last airbender. It was the Fire Nation. Who are the Fire Nations, you say? The Fire Nations, they make it seem like it's white. Yeah, it's that. But it's also is the people they try to say like Africans was been genocide. Come on, man. It was genocide when of the Europeans. The first slaves was Europeans. This is why the word slave is another word for Slavs. It's meant foreigners from other countries. And mumble may mean they whisper, sharing information, sharing secrets to each other, for they don't know what kind of information they're talking about. They mumble, they whispered. Come on, that anybody can know what that means. But it also goes to try to say people in the same condition, the situation you're in. But it got something to do with bond labor, forced slavery, and forced marriage. Bond labor, forced labor, and forced marriage. Go look it up. The word slave. It basically means to strip a state of enemy to make sure he and she to strip their access, not act. Basically, in other words, he and she strip their access, their belonging. Make sure they don't get no access or get no achievalize or anything. They they're gonna be owned or disowned. When you've been owned, they do what you've been telling you. They do what they're gonna tell you what you've been told, even if you like it or not, or they gonna kill you. They did every other race. They did blacks. They did whites. They did Asian. They all races slaved each other. But the first slaves was actually white, and it had something to do with blacks were slaving white folks. I really do believe this. For anybody that's trying to say this, y'all can debate me on this. All you gotta do, you do your research. But I know what some people gonna say. If black people are slave white folks, how come whites? How come blacks don't own anything? I just explained it again. They managed their money some way, somehow. Money did came from trees. Money did came from trees. And gold came from the ground. Oil came from the ground. Think about it. It came from a mother of land of kind, and that's in Africa. Think about it. Why do you think Asians and whites want to go to Africa so bad? Because they can rebuild that continent because they access the they basically they access they got all the access that people can't get the actual access for just like they do. They got the access in where nobody can access they distinguish in. Think about it. What I'm really saying is that they don't once hold the key to anybody who can get in and nobody else can't get in, can't get the key because they the access to the key. But the real key holder, the real key to it is the key to it as the original people. They can't get into a country till somebody say so they can get in their country if they can anticipate themselves in. All they gotta do is look it up. All they gotta do. You wanna know why white people and black people fight each other so much? You want to know why Asians and all the rest of these other people fight each other so much? It's a World War Battle 3. Y'all keep thinking it don't have nothing to do with the Moors, the Templars, and the Mongols. It's going to happen again because of this. Look at the symbols. You see the moon star, right? That's a Moor symbol. The cross is the temple symbol. Some say the Moor is supposed to protect Mary Magdalene, Jesus' mother, or his wife, one of the two. Other people say that the rumor has it that the Moors had something to do with killing Mary Mongo's death. Now, I don't know if this is true or not. I don't know. But I'll tell you this. I only tell you I will know that I find that who protect Mary Mongo is Templars. The last time they buried her is in France or is in Italy. One of those two. In the glass pyramid somewhere. And it had to be Italy. One of those two. You can go look this up. I'm telling you right now, this explains it. There are black Nazis and white Nazis. Black Nazis who intermix of people of white Russians and black Russians, the so-called Negroes and the so-called of people of basically is what? Ger- I don't German people. If it ain't German or goddamn Irish people or Swedish people, this is why white people got different texture in our hair. Blonde, blonde, brunette, and redheads. You start to see why. All you gotta do is do your research. Do your fucking research. But my commentary on this, that you keep thinking it don't have nothing to do with it. What I'm saying is we're all in this together. Don't fall for this, because this stuff is nothing but illusion to this divide between the whites, the blacks, and Asian, and I'm gonna conquer them and put them a pit against each other instead of bringing each other together. We need to come together instead of dis disconnect away from each other. That's all I can say about that. And any questions you would be to ask, and this is going to be revised to you. So, any question you'd like to ask, and it's your boy Domination, and Chuck the Deuce is how we do text baby. Until next time, all right. If you think I'm wrong on this, do your own research and debate me on this, and maybe hope I'm wrong on this, but I think it got a lot to do with the Moors, the Templars, and the Mongols. If it's nothing else, nothing place else. But before I go, who are the people of the descendants of the Neanderthals? The Kazites. The Kazites, those are people Russians. Again, and the original slaves is the Russians who've been slaved by blacks and Asians or their own people. They will never talk about this. Them slaves basically not only whites but blacks and Asians. They all been slaved by their own people. Moors slaved their own people. Templars slaved their own people. Mongols slaved their own people. And the poor whites, the poor Asians, the poor whites, the poor Asians, the poor blacks, they've been owned by their own damn people. This is why they don't want us together. They knew all this. They knew what the hell is going on. Okay. Who are descendants of the Homo sapiens? The people are quote unquote Sam Bushman people. You go look this up if you think I'm real. The original Sand people, the original Sand. Because there, when you look at the Naruto series, they call a place called the Hidden Sand Village. They prefer the Sand people, the Sand Bushmen. So Asian, Japanese people know who they paid the tribute to show to, from not only the whites but also blacks too, and the Mongol. Look what Amaru Hashimama Arama Zensu, something like that, and the other guy Madarao Uchiha. They cut from two clans. The Gensu, I mean the Gensu guy and Madarao Uchiha is come from, and Madara and Madara Gensu clan. That's the Madara was come from the Jinsu clan, from his dad and all that. And then you got the Madara Uchiha. He come from the Chia clan. That's paying tribute to homage of the Moors and the Templars, and their reincarnation, Hachana and Danana, something like that. It got something to do with Islam, and it got something to do with Israel. If you don't believe me, this stuff is not connected between Buddhists, Judas, and Buddhists and Judas, and Buddhists and Judas, and Buddhists and Judas, and Buddhist Judas, and Hebrew or something like that, and Christian, Muslim, Jew. This is why the stuff going on between what the Moors left off, what the Knight Templars left off, and the Mongols left off. And they got to bring blacks and whites and Asians together to fight off these people. Moors, Templars, and the Mongols. And whites and blacks and Asians have to do it together. Poor whites, poor blacks, poor Asians. They have to do it together. Because nothing else, it will be inhumanity once we know it. You never know. And we'll save something. All right? All right. It's your boy Domination. This is Back in the Basic. Chugga the deuces out of text, baby. Until next time, all right? All right. Peace. I'm out. Peace.